Hi, Genki Call here with your Soulforge offerings for the week of September 18th, 2023. I have some really important stuff to tell you about the Soulforge this week. But I'm going to start with the weapons, I think. So, first of all, don't craft this. There's no reason to craft this new weapon if you are participating in Raid Boss because you will get it from the tiers in Raid Boss. It explodes blue gems, grants a random status effect like these weapons do, and then summons a Merlantis troop, and it uses green and brown. So, get the weapon, absolutely, but get it with your gems and not your diamonds. There is one more that is available only today, and here it is. This is the weapon for the faction assault at Sea of Sorrows. Does some scatter damage, creates 8 skulls, entangles the first enemy. That's important. It entangles the first enemy so it can't use those skulls against you. This is a really good weapon. I actually really like this weapon a lot. And it is an extra weapon for Merlantis. You do not want to get weapon blocks, but don't craft it. Go and get it in the shop for the faction assault. Use your gems instead of using your hard-earned diamonds because they're a lot harder to get. We'll come back to the rest of the weapons. Let's go over the troops because there are actually 3 troops in the summoning stones that you might want to get. One in particular you're absolutely going to want to get if you don't have. But for green, we have String Fiddler. If you're lacking this guy, he is a pain in the rump to fight. But really nice to have on your team. He also summons a Leaf Storm at the start of battle. He silences, he explodes gems. It's all good. Da-dum-dum. And he's really good on a Goblin team. Next up, we have Lamashtu and Egg Thief. These are both very, very good. Egg Thief is a must for my favorite gold farming team, and then Lamashtu if you need it for Guild Wars. She is empowered, she starts battles with full mana, and she is a mana converter. The most important thing in here, and the one that you saw in the thumbnail for this video, brown. Centuragon. This is a must-have troop in my opinion. He is fantastic. The extra chance to devour is great. It happens when it happens, and just don't worry about the devour. He is fantastic for mana generation, especially good with Zolgoth, who's going to create those skulls, and then you can turn them all into wild cards, and he's just very, very powerful. And in my opinion, this is a mythic-worthy troop, and it's just an epic. I'll add a video at the end of this video where you can check out more about Centuragon. Setite Warrior is also excellent, so if you don't have that, that would be a bonus. Ogress is a must for bounty, so yeah, any of these 3 would be a good pull. Do you want to spend your hard-earned gems to try and get these? The only one I personally would recommend is Centuragon, but you know, your chances aren't amazing. I'll do 2 more. 2 more. And sometimes you're going to get stuff that you want, sometimes you're going to get the common. You know, you just never know what you're going to get. So keep in mind, you know, it does cost 50 gems to do these, but if it's worth it to you to try and get that troop, or try and get a troop, absolutely spend the gems. That is your call, of course. As far as these legendaries go, 2 here that can devour, and the Spooky Imp is one of the seasonal imps. Well, all the imps are kind of seasonal. Anyway, Kerberos, damage to an enemy, 40% across the board chance to devour, and 50% chance to summon a warg, 50% bonus souls from battle. It's all good. Despite that, I rarely ever use it. I never use Krurarg. I dread running into Krurarg during delves because he does have that chance to devour with skull damage. Despite that 5% skull damage, it chance during our last event where we had to fight Krurarg, he didn't get me once with the devour, which was super nice at Tower of Doom. He does damage to the last 2 enemies, 13 or more red gems, summon a random demon. And the Spooky Imp, as I said, is seasonal. Um, and Spooky Imp should be coming into the chest soon, if not already there. But the gimmick with the imps is they gain 8 magic on matches of whatever color they use. And so, plus there's this magic link. Despite that, the only one I ever use is the winter imp that does true scatter damage. However, spooky imp can be used with Shibanu Vespera, where you get lots and lots and lots of purple matches if you're using an all purple team, and can be really good in that instance. But I personally despise the transform part of spells when they exist. However, especially Wraith, because Wraith can deathmark you if it hits you with skulls. However, I have tested this, and the last time I tested it, the transform did not have its traits, therefore could not deathmark you. So it's okay. You can actually cast this guy. Zatheno's always here. Falden Valis. Okay, Falden Valis is considered to be one of the worst mythics in the game. She does damage to all enemies, explode 3 Doom Skulls, boosted by divine enemies, silence divine enemies. So basically she's only good for fighting divine. She does do damage to all enemy, meaning that if you have a boost from your horde in the underworld, she can be used for quick delves. But she's I don't think she's as bad as people say, but then again, I've never used her, so I can't say for sure. Obsidius used to be so sought after because he stuns all enemies on 4+ gem matches. Now we have Elementalist. So it's still a very good troop. He has skull damage reduction by 50%. He does heavy splash damage. That information's over here. To a random enemy, destroys a 5x5 block. Destroy means it's taking them off the board as if they were matched, the gems. And then there's a 50% chance to deal light splash damage to a random enemy as well. And summons a death storm when an enemy dies, which feeds right back into himself. So he is a good troop. I use him in Guild Wars sometimes. Did I miss something? Yeah. For the stun, if I don't want to use Elementalist. Archdeva can be a lot of fun. He will give attack, life, and armor, and full mana to one ally one time. It doesn't seem like much, right? It doesn't. Except if you're hitting your first ally and they're getting all that attack, life, and armor. You're filling their mana, yes, of course. But he's also barrier and blessing a random ally on every 4+ gem match, which is pretty darn useful. And so I see people using the Archdeva more and more nowadays. Originally, people are like, oh, that thing sucks, but he's actually not bad. Next we've got, another legendary here. We've got Oniros. This guy, he's not bad. He drains mana from all enemies and fairy fires and burns them. Then he summons if you have room on your team to do so. The fairy fire makes your spells do an extra 50% damage. Plus, there are a lot of troops and classes that get a nice buff off of burning enemies as well. So he doesn't get used much, but that fairy fire plus the mana drain is actually pretty nice. Plus he can create those wild cards, and he eliminates 1 magic from all enemies when an ally casts a spell. So anything with purple on the card, the purple is a reflection of the magic, and this goes down every time. Darksmith Renzo's always here. Next up is the Elder Dragon. I always confuse this guy. So he does damage to all enemies, create 9 cursed gems boosted by cursed enemies. The cursed gems are brown. I keep mistaking them for another color, but he creates 9 brown gems basically. Boosted by cursed enemies 1-to-1 ratio, you can get an additional 4 on the board if they're already cursed. He also eliminates 3 magic from all enemies when matching 4+ gems. And the Madness Storm, that's an interesting choice. The Madness Storm is purple and blue, and it uses purple but no blue. So, and there's no brown. So the synergy with the Madness Storm is an odd choice. Very odd, because you're creating brown. So I just don't know about that. I rarely use them. I usually just would rather use something else personally. And that is it for the troops. Now, would I spend gems on any of these? Probably not. Let me show you something. Hold on a second. Here is what I wanted to show you, and that is the list of all of the mythics in this current mythic cycle. We just started a new one on August 28th. There are 89 mythics remaining in this mythic cycle. Thank you so much, King Ollie, for putting this together every week. It is so appreciated. But if there's anything on this list that you want more than what you're seeing right now in the Soulforge, might want to wait. Yeah, I mean, if there's something that you need for your power level, that's a different matter, and that's personal preference on how important it is to you to get your power levels up. But in general, I wouldn't recommend any of these. What I would recommend, however, is that if you don't have Centuragon, that you go ahead and, give it a try. If you've, and it is gambling, but yeah, if you've got the gems to spare, Centuragon is worth spending some gems, in my opinion. All right, let's go over the things I haven't talked about. Don't craft that. I just wanted to craft it. Don't do that. All right, we've got a 75 cheapo, diamond cheapo here. Damage to an enemy, double damage if there's a leaf storm, creates a leaf storm, and self-enchants. So every time you cast it, it's going to self-enchant. And it entangles the first enemy. So for a cheapo weapon, it's really not bad. So next up we've got, already went over the writhing staff, get that in the shop. We've got the iron wave. This one is going to do damage to an enemy boosted by merfolk and create a mix of blue and brown gems for each merfolk ally. I'm using this right now with the Deep King, and it's perfect. He uses blue and brown, so really like this for the current event. Next we have the Ember Partisan. This thing does damage to an enemy boosted by Merlantis allies also, and creates blue and green gems for each Merlantis ally. I mean, I'm sure I can find something that uses green that would make that useful, but I haven't looked very much at this point. Another cheap one, remove all blue gems, do damage to an enemy boosted by the gems removed, and if they're in or from Merlantis, blah blah blah, you know the usual stuff. It's cheap. Don't get weapon blocked, seriously. Check out the video at the end that pops, the videos that pop at the end. Really, don't get weapon blocked. If you can afford it, get the 75 diamond ones. If you can afford better, get the better ones as well. Always here, always here. Let's see, the Doomed Dirk. We have a Doom in here. Never used it. 900 diamonds, but damage to the last enemy boosted by blue gems if they have a Doom, blah blah blah. I own it. I haven't leveled it even, I haven't tempered it even one level because they're just so expensive to level, and I would much rather level up the ones that create Doom Skulls. Or the new ones for the Tower of Doom. That can be useful as well. Anyway, I believe that is it for the Soulforge. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Check out the videos popping up on the screen right now. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you may be, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye!